the window, always waiting for you, baby. Devils roll their dice, angels roll their eyes. If I'd kill you, be the last to know. And it's true. Shake me up, baby, it's true. Yeah, it's a cruel summer. This is the best track off Lover, Taylor Swift's new album.
We can agree.
Do you agree?
I think we can agree. It's at least top 5, and if you want to know if I did rank the songs, I did.
Okay, that is why you're legit on the show today, because someone sent me your ranking, and I was like, I love this, and I've already loved him. He needs to be on the show. Some listener of the show said to me, DM'd me, your ranking of her songs.
Yeah.
And said you need to get Matt Rogers from Les Culturistas podcast on your show. He talks about all the same stuff you talk about. And we met briefly backstage at a show. We're aware of each other.
Yeah.
But I needed to bring you in the mix.
It had to happen. We had to make this connection happen in real time. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so fucking good.
Oh my God, it's so early, and you guys are like, it doesn't feel early here.
I mean, there's someone else here who showed up looking absolutely stunning at 6:45
It's
a.m.
ridiculous. It's Leah Lamar, everyone. I can't believe it's your first time on the show, Leah Lamar.
Me too.
I've tried to book you a couple times, and I've literally booked you a couple times and then gone, oh shit, I forgot we already have someone for tomorrow. I'm so sorry. I'll get you on and you're always so understanding, but I've been dying to have you in here.
Thank you so much for having me, and just so you know, I forgive you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Leah.
You're welcome.
Leah Lamar, she is from the Falling in Love with Leah Lamar podcast, which is a fascinating podcast that I want to talk about in a little bit, but she also does a web series called The Real Witches of West Hollywood. You're going to fall in love with her today. Follow her on socials. Leah Lamar, Lamar. Matt Rogers is Matt Rogers, though, THO. Rogers without a D.
No D.
ROGERS. THO on Instagram and Twitter, I'm guessing, too.
Oh yeah, across all platforms. We're professionals here.
But these two are really I'm not aware of I'm not on Twitter as much, but these two are great follows on Instagram, and that is why they're here today. That's how I feel like I really know them. Ugh. And yeah, I'm just excited to get into the show. I mean, there's so much to talk about. Leah, you do look like super hot all the time whenever I see you.
So much.
That's maybe why I don't want you around me.
Yeah, I get that.
As much as I do. That's the first thing I realized about Leah. Leah and I met first on my show Not Safe. Is that where we first met?
Oh my God.
Right,
that is where when I was dating.
Yeah, you were dating another comic. So I had a show on Comedy Central called Not Safe, and there was this one bit we did where we were figuring out, like, every couple breaks up eventually, especially in your 20s. It's like, stop acting like it's going to last forever.
Everything ends, y'all.
This is my big thing with men that I've been going into is like, these guys, I just want a boyfriend so that I can have some like comfortable sex and not feel abandoned afterwards, and just like go to brunch and like buy me a smoothie after. Like, I just want to be treated nicely after sex. And I think with hookups, men have the right and the they feel like it's their right to just like abandon you, kind of, and not need to text you, and they can because you're not their girlfriend. Yeah. So that's why I want a boyfriend. It's just like I want someone consistently there after.
To be fucking nice.
To be nice.
Is it that hard?
To not make me
I don't
feel
have sex
weird
with anyone.
Yeah, I don't have sex with anyone either. We're gonna get into that too. But like, I mean, even like after making out, like I feel connection when I make out with someone, and then the next day they don't watch my Instagram.
I feel
story.
a connection if we accidentally brush elbows.
Absolutely.
I'm emotionally attached.
It's down to that for me as well. Like I kept being like, as long as I don't have sex, it's fine. And then I blew someone, and I'm like, well, I'm hung up on that guy because his dick was like in my head, and that's and his DNA is in my stomach. Okay, so like that makes sense that I'm still thinking about him. 100%. So now I can't even blow guys anymore. So
I don't know if that's a loss though, to be honest.
It is though, Leah, because if you can't fuck a guy, if you can't blow a guy, and to get a guy off, which is like kind of the idea of sex and like the whole sole purpose.
It is the goal.
The goal. I love Sarah. I always say this on my show, but I love Sarah Silverman's. One of the first jokes she ever did. She was like 18, and I watched this old stand-up set of hers from like, it was at like the comic strip, and it was like this tape that she probably sent into SNL. Yeah. And she's like, I love sex between a man and a woman. I just love that it's two people working towards one common goal. His orgasm.
Yes, I remember
I love that joke.
Yeah.
It's just because that's what it is. And so I'm blowjobs for me are at least something that I am a decent enough at that I can get it done. If I need to get the guy to come, I'm like, okay, I can just do this and then it'll be done. Hand jobs, not as confident.
They're not foolproof. Hand jobs, like the technique can be very off. It can be too hard.
They can do
it can
it better
be nothing.
themselves.
Yeah, this is true too. It's like when someone is jacking you off, you're kind of just thinking the whole time like, okay, cool, this is
Harder,
like 600
softer.
degrees off from what I need right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell the person
because it's embarrassing and sad.
Yeah, it's too many times. I do a bit about how it's like every guitar lesson I've ever taken is like every hand job I've ever given where I feel confident, and then the teacher's like, let's just play together.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, let's follow me. And I'm like, okay. And then they go, why don't you just watch me? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not naturally good at this, so I'm out, and I don't want to play anymore.
No,
Nikki, I think you have to get better at guitar.
Yeah.
That's what I learned from that.
I love guitar, and I have bad rhythm. That's my problem with sex, bad rhythm. That's why
I don't know if I'm
like
good at sex. I'm great at giving head, though. But for me, it's like it's a special skill on my resume, so I don't give it out to just anyone.
It depends on the guy for me. Some people, I think I'm the best person that's ever had sex, and then other people, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't do this. I should exunt.
I know.
But I will say that I have a hand job story. I used to date this guy I had like very little to no sexual chemistry with, and he had gotten intel from a friend that big album of the time was Adele's 21.
Yeah.
He was like, I feel like to get into it, we should listen to this album. And I'm like, this album, Adele 21, where it's all like ballads about breaking up.
Yeah.
And he gave me the worst hand job I've ever gotten in my life to the song Don't You Remember by Adele.
No.
And a beautiful, gorgeous, luscious song, but which I can't enjoy now because I had like a hand job from Truly Thor. Like it was, my penis didn't work for several days. Like I'm going to say 96 hours I had a non-working gay penis, which is tough in New York. So much to look at and so much to do and participate in. But no,
my God.
I blame Adele. That's why I'm not mad that her album cycles are so far apart.
Yeah,
it's like my dick needs time to heal.
Oh,
that's the real fucking tea.
I hope she puts a real banger on the next one for you to really get jerked off.
Let's do some up-tempo stuff. I'm looking to get out of here.
Adele owes you. She owes
Truly.
you that. I feel like I'm now a Jew for Jesus. You know, like I'm not gonna have sex till marriage, the Christian way.
No. It's 100%. That's what you should be doing. I want to get back to that, but as I was saying before about guys just think that I don't want something for. I think we're all gonna break up eventually. Yeah. Was my point.
Yeah.
And so I just don't see. I think I was going somewhere with this. What were we talking about before that? Shit.
We met on your show, not safe.
Yeah, we went on. Okay, so the premise of this thing was that no couples last, and so when
so dark,
it really just isn't gonna. Most don't, and I think it's so hilarious that people think, because that's this new kind of premise I'm working on stage is that. Guys, just be my boyfriend. It doesn't mean you have to marry me. No. It won't be forever. Stop freaking out.
Yeah,
I think guys think like, oh, this might be for.
Don't commit.
I feel the opposite. I'm like, if you're my boyfriend, you're my husband. So gear up. Strap in.
I feel similarly in that I just started dating someone new, and those little things. I think it's a thing with men, like because I'm actually the worst kind of gay man. I'm a gay man who does participate in like hooking up with a lot of people, but I do get attached every single time.
Oh wow!
So that sucks, and I already I feel I like have waded into this relationship, and I really like the guy, but it's this thing in the back of your head that's like, but commitment, but also like you're saying that's not a thing. The rules don't exist.
It's why would the thing you're in right now last when everything before you has not last and everything before that your partner has not worked out. And yes, of course, there is eventually you find someone, but not always. But why are we always operating under this assumption that this is it? So let's look at the odds and go, it's most likely not. Let's just have a little fun while it is good.
Yeah, the odds are against you.
Yeah, 100%. I think also it's like there's like a sense of doom because both he and I have been through bad breakups before, and it's like we feel ourselves trudging towards death.
Yeah.
But it's like we can enjoy it while it's good.
I think that's the point. Enjoy it while it's good because we all are going to die eventually. Everything will end eventually.
Everyone but me. Sorry. I figured it out.
Are you immortal?
Yeah, I don't want to brag.
Your skin seems to suggest that.
Thank you so much.
Every time I see you do seem like some kind of alien woman that has figured out how to not age.
Every 10 to 15 years I have to move because people get creeped out. But in Hollywood, you could just look the same forever.
Oh my God.
I figured it out.
This town.
Tuck everlasting, baby.
The look in your eyes as you say that, you really know the secret.
It is. This town really. I always said that there's no difference between New York or LA. Like, I understand the differences. It's nicer weather. You get to spend more time in your car. The people are a little bit lazier here.
There's more Botox in everyone.
Yeah, everyone cares about their looks more. But I go, is it really affect who I am as a person? No. But yes, it does. When I come here, I get a little bit more obsessed with my looks. I get more sad about my looks.
Yeah.
I get, depression hangs on me, and it eventually lifts because I look around and then I see it for what it's worth. But I need about 3 weeks to get in it and then get out of it and see it for what it is. But it happens every time I come to LA, and I'm starting to notice the pattern. Therefore, being able to like anticipate it instead of being like, why am I so ugly? It's just like, oh, it's because everything around you. Literally everything around you is telling you you're ugly.
In New York, I'm like a 14.
100%.
In New York,
in LA, I'm like a hard 6.
Yeah.
It's really tragic. It's true. But so Leah was on my show in the segment we did where we brought new couples in to say, listen, you're going to break up eventually.
Sure.
I know you're in love now. And we got all these people that were like in the early
like
throes
4 months
of like,
in.
Yeah,
I see. Just when it starts to get like, oh, you're a real person, and stops to get
just so you know, me and this guy were holding hands.
Oh, no, you were still there.
They were schmoopy. We got all the couples at the schmoopy phase. Like, you're cute. No, you are. So we got.
You were not safe there.
Ariana Grande, like Pete Davidson level of obsession.
Yeah.
Like we got those couples.
Right before the fallout.
And then we talked to them about all like their little things they share together. And we said, well, you're eventually going to break up. So we had a what's it called? One of those guys that stamps things to make them official.
Notary.
A notary?
Yep.
Holy
Thank
shit.
you. We had a notary just for the gag of like, we're going to go through all of your favorite restaurants, all the things you share, the shows you share, the Netflix accounts. Who's going to get this stuff when you guys break up?
The custody battle.
You're not going to get married yet, but like you're going to end before you get married, and there's going to be some fallout. So we went through. So she came in with this guy, and I was like, I want their relationship so bad. I always envy that new love thing. That's what I want. When Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson were like all over each other and like professing their love on Instagram, and everyone,
the VMAs.
Yeah, and everyone was like grossed out by it. I was like, that is all I want.
It's so
I
hot.
love the beginning of a relationship where you are just intoxicated
Obsessed.
with the person.
But how do you keep that feeling forever?
You can't. And that's why when I learned I'm a love addict. I'm addicted to that feeling. I can't get my drug. My drug is like not open to me. I've been looking for it. But men do not let me have that drug. But that is my drug, dude. I love that. That's all I want. And I know it's gonna end. It ends terribly with every action. There's a equal physics. So so it's going to not, it can't last. It cannot last. But I love it so much. And that's what you walked in with, this guy he's a comedian. Can we say his name?
I don't know.
No, okay. So he's so great. He's written for me for roast before.
Yes.
He's so funny. He's a comedian, and you walked in with him. I didn't know you guys were comics. We just casted it, and you guys showed up. But then once you showed up, you told me you were comics, and you were both like my favorite couple of that entire thing.
Thank you. There were only 3, just
hot?
to be fair.
I feel like
but you were those
He's
standouts.
cute.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
cute.
he's cute.
I have I think he's a sweetheart.
Yeah,
He's a great guy. We're just not
you
right
guys
for each
were
other.
so in love. What happened there?
Completely incompatible in every way.
Really?
Shape, and
You
form.
guys seemed so compatible.
Because you're still performing at that
in
part
common.
of the relationship too. You know what I mean? Even when you go out with each other, like sometimes I'll be alone with the person I'm dating, and I'll be like, "Why am I putting on a fucking Tony Award-winning show
so
right now?"
right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then especially forget it when you go on a show.
Yes.
And it's like, let me look like this.
Well, it's also what
know.
you want to believe is really happening because you want it so bad.
Yes.
You want to feel those love feelings.
Oh, it's his phone. He's got it.
Oh my God, you're fired, Matt.
Yeah, you have to leave now.
Yeah, you're done. Right in the middle of my story about heartbreak. God,
so
can you
hard.
add insult to injury?
How quickly did that?
That was actually my longest relationship. I don't do long relationships.
Yeah.
It was 13 months. And
Yeah, that's a long
every
time.
month counts when you just make it over a year.
Dude,
That's
I'm
long.
with you. That's a long time.
Yeah, and that was it. All my other relationships have been anywhere from 1.5 months to 10 months.
Yeah, and you, man, we have so much to talk about because I haven't caught up with you in so long. Your podcast to me is fascinating because you do this podcast called Falling in Love with Leah Lamar.
Ironically, it's nothing to do with me.
It doesn't have anything to do with you, but you're the host of it. You're so impressive to me. Leah Lamar is going to be someone that you know her name. She's just like a great producer. She runs her shit. She started this podcast where she has two people do. Can you explain it?
Yeah, I bring two single people onto the podcast and then see if they fall in love in real life. And I interview them individually, and then I bring them both in the room together. We do select questions from the 36 Questions That Lead to Love by psychologist Arthur Aaron. And then I have them stare into each other's eyes for 4 minutes of uninterrupted eye contact with no verbal communication.
Now, what happens during that part of the podcast?
I'm in the room and it's so uncomfortable.
Do we just sit in silence listening for 4 minutes?
No, I cut it out.
Oh, okay.
And then I put my point of view on it.
Great.
So people know where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because everyone has a different reaction. People cry, people start laughing maniacally, people start shaking. It's like a very visceral experience because people aren't used to having eye contact for such a prolonged time.
That is amazing.
With a stranger. Yeah. And then it's especially vulnerable because you've just talked about such intimate information for so long.
Yeah.
And then after that, they go on a date without me in the room. And they speak into the microphone, so it's all recorded. And then after that, I come in and I wrap up with them individually.
How long is their date?
Like anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how it's going.
Sure.
I listen in. So if it's going well, I'll just let them talk for a while. But if it's not going well, then I'm like, I got to step in and save one of these people.
Right. So they don't really talk to each other before this date.
Yeah, they don't know each other at all before the date.
So you interview them both individually, then they both answer questions separately?
Yeah, no, then they come in together and do the 36 questions. So they hear each other's answers about their intimate secrets.
Do they talk about back and forth about the answers?
They each say their answers, but we can talk about their answer afterward.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they have the 4 minutes of uninterrupted eye contact. Then they go on a quick date. Then you come back in, you talk about that date.
And we wrap up individually. And if they both say yes, then I have them exchange numbers and I follow up with them. And I have rules. I always tell them, if you guys start dating or even go on 1 or 2 dates, like there's no ghosting. And if there is, you already said that there's no ghosting, so this isn't on me. You're just a piece of shit.
You set up a safe space, and also you like get your accountability out of it.
Yes, and if you both say yes, then you have to follow through.
Yeah.
And so I actually on June 1st recorded an episode, and they're dating.
Wow.
They just posted their first photo together officially on stories.
Oh my God, who
and
is this?
On a regular post. I feel bad saying.
Okay, you don't need to
because
say.
I feel like it's their
thing.
Business, but they just met each other's parents.
Wow, dude.
And their dogs met each other, which I feel like is an even bigger deal.
Now, when you decide to put these couples together, have you ever had like one of your comic friends, like, Nikki Glaser, be like, hey, look, there's this guy I like. Will you like randomly select him to go on a date with?
100%.
Okay, so if I do your podcast, I can be like, hey, ask this guy.
Yes,
I think I'd have a thing with him. Okay, so that's happened. Or do you just play matchmaker?
Both.
Okay,
because I think that anytime that there's an initial spark or someone has interest, the likelihood that you're going to be continued interest will be really high.
Yeah.
And so, I always ask the other person's consent as well. You just have to be sure. Because if they're like, oh, not my type or whatever it is.
Yeah, do you show a picture beforehand?
Yeah. So I usually choose one person and then ask them a couple of questions about if they have any hard deal breakers and then what their type is. And then I'll send them 5 to 10 profiles. And then they'll tell me their top 3 and then based off availability and blah, blah, blah.
I love this. So how many episodes are we into this podcast?
We've recorded a bunch, but we have 9 out and another one coming out next week.
You got to check it out. It's Falling in Love with Leah Lamar, Lamarr. And you got to follow Leah on Instagram. She's so hot and she's funny. And it's
Please talk about my
infuriating.
spider video.
And the other night she like posted a weird. She's just like, I like you because you're so pretty and you look like this girl that I would just think is just perfect and not lonely and doesn't do anything sad.
The laugh on not
and then
lonely.
You like
revealing.
You do have tendencies to be sort of
complete psycho.
Yeah,
Thank
like
you.
you're just, but you're honest about your how you. And I don't think you're a complete psycho.
Well, I'm
at
a
all.
Gemini, so
same here. And I don't think there's anything to that. But
I blame my whole personality on it.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
so
you're one of
unfortunate.
So you buy
I
into
have
it.
to. I don't know what the other reason is besides psychosis.
No, I mean the way you were raised, and maybe the fact that you're intelligent and you think too much. And I'm just projecting. That's what I say. I'm just so smart.
No, keep going.
I'm just
so
too
beautiful
smart. I
and
can't shut
funny
up my
and
brain.
Honestly, guys, I'm a Pisces and I do believe in it. So you
Do you
guys
believe
talking
in it?
shit about it is gonna make me cry.
Yeah, you
my
sensitive
God.
little flower.
I'm a water sign.
Oh God.
I'm kidding. I don't. It's all bullshit.
And The Real Witches of West Hollywood is your web series.
Yeah.
And what can you tell us about that?
Oh, I sure can. So it's like The Real Housewives or Kardashians meets witches, like What We Do in the Shadows on FX. And we're just vain witches. And it's the most fun. My show is beautifully stupid. What I mean by that is when you watch it, you're like, how are these two people making this show? Because it's so bizarre. But we love it so much and we have so much fun.
Who is we?
Me and my friend Carly Tamarin, she's my co-creator. We do everything together. What I mean by that, we edit, we write, we direct, we produce. We've done everything from start to finish. So every single detail that you see, we've done. And I think that's pretty cool to learn all of the production side of things as well.
It is.
People were impressed. People reach out to me about it all the time, being like, "Who did your FX? Who did your blah blah blah?" I'm
Wow,
like,
girl.
"Us. We did everything."
Good job.
That's
well,
incredible.
it's because we're poor, so we have to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing now is like, just get it done yourself. Don't wait for people to give you a deal, because even when you get a deal, you get it, and then months and months and months pass waiting for the contracts to be signed and the money to be managed and the people to be hired. And then by that time, someone else has done your idea.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that book or even heard about that book? It's like, I can't even come up with the premise of the book. It's written by this fiction writer, and it's called like Big Ideas or something. And it's about like your idea might seem like so unique, but it is like an object that's floating in the air and it just wafted into your brain. And if you don't do anything with it, it's going to fly out of your brain and go find someone else.
Oh, yeah.
So
Is that
often
Kant?
in this industry. Yeah, I
That
know.
might be Kant, Immanuel Kant.
Yeah,
It's so often in this industry.
That might be the philosopher Kant.
Just wanted to drop that. I don't think it is. It's the only philosopher I knew, though. So
You can't be vain enough to think, oh, I'm going to be the only person to think of this idea.
But this happens to me.
It happens all the time.
It happens to me all the
course.
time.
Yeah.
Of course it
I have a
does.
whole pitch book, and if I could show you, literally almost every idea of ideas that I've had for the last 4 years has been snatched up by someone who has more money.
Leah came up with American Idol in the year 2005.
You don't. I honestly did. I was writing a show about clones and DNA and testing and genetic therapy, and then my friend was like, "You should watch Orphan Black," and I just started sobbing.
No,
I was like,
it's happened so often where you have this specific idea and you think, I can take my time on it. No one else is going to get to it. And it happens with jokes all the time, too.
Yeah.
Like other people write stand-up jokes.
Yeah.
They will get your premise out there. That's why I oftentimes and speak to comedians who are doing like appearances on things. And even to myself, I have to tell myself, like I just did this like taping for Netflix. After I did an hour and then I did this other 15 or 20 minute special for the Degenerates. And since my special, I've been building all this new material and it just doesn't feel done, but I'm excited about it. And I was like, but it's not done and I want to put it in my next special. Well, I can't tape a next special for another year. And by that time, I'm going to be bored of this material. And right now, maybe it's not done, but there's some energy to it.
Yeah.
I might die. Get it? I want
Do it.
this
Yeah.
out here more than the old shit that maybe is more worked on than. So just get your best stuff out there as soon as you can. Don't wait on it because other people, it will happen. Someone else will have your idea and you'll be like, did they steal it? Like it'll be that uncanny.
Yeah.
Is it weird that the only thing I got from that was to freeze my eggs?
Are you freezing your? Do you want to?
No, but I'm like, get my best stuff out here.
Create work
Let's get
now.
going.
Create work now. Your art.
I'm like, they're only
So
going to get worse
true.
from here.
Yeah, and Matt, you have a podcast as well, Las Culturistas, that is people love. So a lot of people have written to me about you and having you on the show.
That's nice
And
to hear.
and they love your podcast. You've been doing it a while.
We've been doing it for about 3 years. It's me and Bowen Yang,
Bowen Yang,
newly
newly-
minted SNL cast
Ooh.
member.
Bowen Yang.
Yeah.
Mazel
Newest-
tov.
And he was you both were writing at SNL.
So he was writing an SNL last year. So we had this insane sort of experience where they approached us both separately to audition. And then we both showcased and we both screen tested 2 times. They had us on hold for 6 months. And then it was that kind of nightmare scenario where the best friends and comedic partners kind of get broken up by it. To be honest with you, like I said, there's a fucking book in this.
No kidding.
No, but it was, and this had been like a lifelong dream of mine, like to get on that show. But then like, honestly, as you work more in the industry and as you kind of do more things and more avenues open up, you realize that's not the only place to go.
No.
And I'm thrilled that it happened for him. And to see him be the first Asian American cast member of all time on that show is so fucking rad.
It's
and
unreal.
I said
almost
to him,
just cried when you said that.
I mean, honestly, I'm Pisces. I sometimes do cry about it when I think about
I've
it.
never cried before.
Yeah, right, of course. Well, Gemini, there's a side of you that does. You haven't met her yet. But it was this like kind of sick, very heightened experience of going through that and then having it go one way for one of you and one way for the other. And then it's that thing where you confront yourself because we do have this podcast so that we do like run a business together, which is us.
Yeah.
And so it's had like such an emotional up and down to it. But at the end of the day, like, and this is what bummed me out about the last week about all that shit coming out about, you know, this
Shane
other
Gillis.
dude that got let go. Is that it kind of took the moment away from Bowen and also Chloe Fineman, who's fucking
amazing.
outrageous.
Chloe
So
Fineman
talented.
is gonna take over this town.
Forget it.
The world, probably.
Dude.
I mean, they did such an incredible job casting Chloe and Bowen that this other dude, like, we're not even going to be thinking about him.
No.
And I can't wait till we get to that point where we're just not even thinking about this anymore because it so doesn't fucking matter because they hired rad people. There's rad people on the cast right now and the show's going to be great. I mean, it's, Well,
that's so great to hear your excitement for Bowen, despite you were so close as well. And
I mean, like
your dream job. But you're absolutely right, Matt. Like, even to, you know, SNL has always been something that was like, oh man, that would be so cool. But I was never really involved in sketch or doing impressions. So I was like, it's just not my avenue. But even so, it's still this thing that's like, oh, if only you could get accepted there. That's just like the launch pad that will like, everything happens.
It's looming over everything. And I always said like every year around August, I would get like this sick depression because I knew that it was coming, like the screen test. And every year, and because sketch and improv was my thing. Like, I came up.
Do you do characters too?
Yeah, and I went to JFL for New Faces for characters and did the whole bit. Like I was a UCB New York kid. I did it for a decade. I was more original characters than impressions. Not super great impressionists, but could whip something together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was kind of this thing that was like looming at all times, and every year, whether they did want to see you that year or didn't want to see you that year, or you were going to get to the literal screen test at 30 Rock in front of Lauren, like always a different experience. And now that I know like it's over and I can kind of like close the chapter on it, it's like I'm fucking psyched that he's gonna get to do it, and like psyched that there's a whole other entertainment industry full of shit that I'm doing as well.
Yeah, you're gonna be quite all right.
But it's so funny because like there's so much media about that, and there's so much like, especially when you do comedy, right? It's like everyone's curious about that. No, it's
like
experience.
Your aunt is like, why don't you do SNL? It's like not only the business is telling you about SNL, but it's like everyone thinks that that's the only way to get in.
Yeah, especially when it's like one of the biggest casting events of the year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I like that you called it an event.
But I mean, as we've seen over the best, it's like less a casting and more of like a publicity event.
Yeah,
it's like we're rolling out the new class, and that kind of puts a pressure on it too. So it's this like psycho section of like doing this that I'm happy is like kind of over.
Are you hanging it up? Will you screen test again when they
to be honest with you, I've changed so much as a comic now. Like I don't do the sketch and characters anymore. It's not where I'm at. Like I'm kind of like loving doing the podcast, loving doing more like stuff with my personality that drives it.
Yes.
And I also like, you know what I mean? Like
you sound like you let go of an abusive ex-boyfriend. You're like,
honestly,
I've changed, okay? I don't need this anymore.
That is the power that it has over you when you let it.
Do you feel sick when you walk by the building?
You know, I used to feel like it's like this thing where I went there because you know what it is. I associate it, and I'm kind of like, I don't know how you guys are, but I am a little bit of a success failure person, kind of black and white. And I've realized with all this shit, you have to be less like that. So there's a part of me that does pass by 30 Rock and it's like, that's somewhere where I failed. But also it wasn't a failure because there's so many variables and shit that go into those decisions, et cetera, et cetera. It really has nothing to do with anything.
100%.
So you just walk by and you go, that's something cool I got to do.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I
great.
mean?
That's a great attitude.
Yeah.
Wow, you turned that around real
well,
fast.
it was, I can't even believe I haven't been in therapy about it. Like,
Yeah.
I like feel, I need to go to therapy because I'm sure there's still stuff to work out with, you know, the relationships, the professional shit, everything.
Yeah.
But I did kind of get to a place by myself, like probably LSD helped. But
really?
Oh, huge for me.
Dude, Matt, I want to talk to you about LSD. We have 5 minutes till we go to break, but a couple things you said there. I mean, I feel the same way. It's like, and this never really comforts anyone, and not that you even need it, but like, it's always been true for me when things that I want so badly don't happen. Everything that happens after that can only happen because that thing didn't happen. And so then it's like when you say no to something or when something says no to you, you're saying yes to everything else. But when you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else.
Exactly.
So we need to start looking at these like big yeses as actual, like, we're rejecting so much in our lives that isn't that.
And a no is a yes to so many other things.
Yeah,
They say rejection is God's protection, but it's like, why does God keep protecting me from everything? You know, I feel like I just lost 2 huge jobs, and they were both confirmed, and then just randomly lost at the last minute, and the projects just changed exponentially, or the reasons were out of my control.
Sure.
And
or you were just a little like too.
I'm so bummed.
Ugly.
Yeah, it was honestly. I'm a 6. What do you want? I'm a total dog. You know, they just couldn't. They couldn't put me on on television.
Yeah, so it's just stuff that's out of your control.
But
like
it hurts. Yeah, totally. I mean, no, actually, that is in my control.
Because you're so.
You're stunning.
I could get surgery immediately, you guys.
No.
Not a big deal.
That's the problem. I know you could.
I know.
Everything's fixable.
Yeah, I could tell you exactly what I would want done.
I know. We've talked about this.
Oh my God.
Leah and I have both like photoshopped pictures of our faces and sent them to each other, being like, "What do you think?"
Yeah, like, what do you do?
I actually may have to get a rhinoplasty for like a medical thing, but I'm kind of like, I'm
Are
not
you kidding?
super mad about it.
Like, that hasn't been my reason for 10 years.
I have a deviated septum all the time.
And I have a collapsed valve, and I just want a nose job. So thank you.
I have a deviated lip and a deviated.
I have a deviated
ass
head
and a deviated.
My brain is deviated.
I need a full head transplant.
Just keep making excuses. Go on. Losing these opportunities. Did you like sob and mourn and freak out?
If I wasn't in therapy, I'd be dead for sure. My therapist is a little angel. She's, I think, 110 years old.
That's great.
And you know, she has the wisdom of the ancient people within her. No, I hope she's not listening because that was mean. I love her more than anyone I've ever known. Yeah. She has 2 therapy dogs.
And that's crucial.
One therapy dog will come up to me and she'll put her paw on me. And when she does, my therapist said something good is going to happen to you.
Oh my God.
And I'm like still waiting for that good thing to happen though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when that
don't
dog
really know
dies,
the
you need to get that paw on a keychain.
Oh, I will.
I think it's yours.
You're
now
right.
I really hope she's not listening. Your dog is going to die. Your dog is like all relationships. It will end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's more certain than anything.
100%.
When people go, because when I had dogs, I would always be like, oh my God, I can't believe they're going to die someday. And people would go, don't think about that. And I'm like, why? Yeah. I'm going to have to deal with it.
And they're like, but
why? And I'm like, because I plan on living 11 more years. What do you know? It's like, you got to wrap your brain around the people that just go, no, not going to think about my dog dying. It's like, well, they are not humans. They don't go on forever.
You're signing up for trauma.
I want to just pass away when my dog passes away.
I know.
I don't even have a dog, but just in the future.
Oh God, I would wait a long time then.
Yeah.
No. So you got through it.
I'm growing through it.
Yeah.
I would say I've done a lot of crying. I've watched almost every season of Jane the Virgin.
That's so important, though, is to like literally feel that loss, I think.
Yes.
Because it's
To
like
feel your feelings.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Matt.
And I've always feel like, I'm not even going to lie. I was in the worst depression of my life for a month after last year when it didn't work out.
Right.
For a solid month, like opening my eyes and being like, fuck, I opened my eyes. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah.
But then like, and also like living in New York, so fucking humid in August, just like you feel weighed down. I get seasonal depression seriously in the end of the summer.
Oh, yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And then but then you do get over it, and then you look back on it and you say, well, I went through something that was fucking hard. And that teaches you to grind. I mean,
Yep.
like
Don't act like you
come
weren't
back-
grinding before.
but
You're
you
working so
were,
hard.
you were, but then you learn like that's this entertainment industry is
Yeah.
like you said, you have to keep making it happen for yourself, and sooner rather than later, because you are in control of it no matter what you think.
Yes.
You really are, especially someone who's not just like an actress or not just a writer.
Right.
Like,
We're so lucky
Yeah.
that we are creative and actually know how to write stuff and make stuff and be funny without
100%.
actors. When they don't get jobs, they're just like,
What do I do?
I just like wait to say some words that people put in front of me. It's
Yeah.
like I feel so grateful that I can
Yeah.
produce things
Yeah.
and write.
I started stand up because I was miserable. Well, I had been doing improv and I couldn't figure out why I hated it so much. And
So many reasons
There's
why.
so many reasons. And then I met with a casting director.
Yeah.
And we talked for an hour, and at the end, she goes, I just want to let you know you're more funny, less pretty.
wow.
And I was like, oh my God, you think I'm funny?
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. And also, I just disregarded the pretty comment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I also
right.
understood what she meant. She was like, if you can use what you have, do it. She's like, you should be writing your own jokes. And I was like, oh, that's why I hate improv.
I'm glad someone like took you aside and told you that, because it's that's when people in this town, and we got to go to break, but when people in this town complain about or actresses going on stage and doing stand-up and taking time, it's like, yeah, they'll fall off if they're not funny.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't begrudge them that, because as a performer, I'm dying to perform every night, and actresses just have to sit around and wait.
Yeah.
Get on stage, and if you are funny enough, write your own stuff. And
Then hell yeah.
I totally encourage actors and actresses to try out stand-up, because I think it's a way to try something. And now you're a fucking comedian.
Yeah, I've been doing stand up for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're still an actress, but you're a comedian now,
Yeah.
too, because of that. Well, I'm here with Matt Rogers and Leah Lamar. We have such a fun show ahead of us. We got to go to break.
Ooh.
Let's talk about ZipRecruiter. Guys, hiring can be a challenge. As Codable co-founder Gretchen Hebner found out, Gretchen knew it wouldn't be easy to find the right game artist for her education tech company. So she went to ZipRecruiter, because ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its technology identifies people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job, so you get qualified candidates fast. Gretchen posted her job on ZipRecruiter and was impressed with how quickly she found qualified applicants. She also used ZipRecruiter's screenings questions to filter her candidates so she could focus on the most relevant ones. And that's how Gretchen found a new game artist in less than 2 weeks.
Wow, go Gretchen.
Go Gretch!
Come on, Gretch.
With
Let's
results
go.
like that, it is no wonder 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See why ZipRecruiter is effective for businesses of all sizes. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Nikki. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Nikki, Nikki. ZipRecruiter.com/Nikki. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And we'll be back with more after this. Okay, guys, let's talk about Mack Weldon underwear. Guys, if you're not wearing Mack Weldon underwear, you've been had. Stop buying underwear that doesn't fit or feel right. It is time for underwear that is right, because Mack Weldon underwear doesn't merely imply comfort. Mack Weldon is comfort. They combine smart materials with smart designs. No more feeling sweaty, no more rolling waistbands, no more chafing or riding up. They use real silver woven into the fabric that kills odors, plus keeps you cool and comfortable all day. Matt Rogers, do you have Mack Weldon?
Not currently on me, but currently in my apartment.
Yeah, do you love it?
I do love it. This is no joke. Can confirm it's really good material, and it's comfortable.
Yeah, okay.
And when you're doing physical stuff like working out, it's great.
Okay, Mack Weldon, you've heard it here. Hundreds of thousands of guys already wear Mack Weldon. If you don't love your first pair, they'll pay for it. Whatever you do, try Mack Weldon right now. Get Mack Weldon underwear today, and you'll save 20% with promo code Nikki. That's a big percentage, guys, but only until the end of the month. So get 20% off at MackWeldon.com, promo code Nikki, MackWeldon.com, promo code Nikki, Nikki. And we're back. It's You Up with Nikki Glaser. I'm here with Matt Rogers from Las Culturistas podcast and Leah Lamar from Falling in Love with Leah Lamar and the Witches of Beverly Hills. Wait, what?
West Hollywood, but honestly,
West
Beverly
Hollywood.
Hills sounds better. Thank you.
Okay, Real Witches of West Hollywood. And I am going to be at the Irvine Improv this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with Andrew Collin and other special guests. It's going to be so fun. Come out to shows. It's going to sell out. If you're in that area, I would love to see you. Buy a meet and greet ticket. Let's talk after the show. And also set your calendars because my special Bangin' is coming out October 1st on Netflix. And put a little note in your calendar to remind you. Midnight, September 30th. Is there a 31st of September?
I don't think
I think there's a 30th.
Yeah.
So September 30th at midnight, that will be out. And I really can't wait for you to see it. What else is going on? I have a photo shoot today that I just like.
Ooh, for what?
Just my own personal, like I'm going on tour and I need new promotional stuff. Like I'm tired of looking at the same goddamn posters and pictures people pull offline from 5 years ago when I had
like a fresh spray tan.
Oh, it's 2 days ago, and I'm so sick of spray tans, Leah Lamar. I can't even fucking stand it.
I know. I have 3 colors: red, white, and spray tan. That's it.
Well, do you have in between spray tan, which is like a leprosy?
Oh yeah, always.
Like a serpentine leprosy.
You're right. You're right, Nikki.
I cannot
look like a cheetah.
stand the in between spray tan, and no spray tan houses, places that do spray tans, have any solution for getting off a spray tan. I walked into one the other day and I go, guys, I don't understand. I went to get a scrub at the spray tan place that's supposed to take it off. And I go, it's not off, guys. It's still on. And they're like, well, maybe soak in the bath for 2 hours before you come in. And I go,
2 hours?
I don't have time to be tan.
No.
I just have to. And yesterday I posted about it on my Instagram and Whitney Cummings said, I've recently surrendered to the pallor. And Whitney Cummings, though, has this like nice, like, like, fair skin that's not all splotchy. I can't surrender to the pallor yet. I can't do it. Getting a spray tan makes you look so much hotter.
It does.
It changes everything.
And I'm so tired of people calling me alabaster.
Oh, well, that's like a nice way to.
I get it. I look like I'm from the 17th century,
yeah,
but it's
you
like
have the best skin.
Go on.
You can lean into it. You're the type of pale that can be pale and still be hot.
Thank you so
truly,
much.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work the same for me. I need a spray tan, and it's ruining my life. I have to like scrape off my skin every week to get a new one applied. You have to stand naked in front of a woman who's just like talking to you about bullshit.
I do it at home by myself.
Really?
Oh,
What do you
Yes,
do?
and it's so odd. Naked and KD. It's all natural. And I put it on a mitt. It's a mousse. And I just rub it all over my body.
It works.
The back is the hardest part.
Sure.
But if you can be weird with yourself in the bathroom, I look really great
I can
after.
definitely be weird with myself in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's great.
Almost
I'm just
every
so
day.
tired of strangers looking at my naked body.
I know.
Who aren't fucking me.
And like spraying my labia. I just can't do it.
So there is
Wow.
someone in there to like help you out though, because my fear with spray tanning is like they're gonna leave me into my own devices and I'm gonna fuck it up and look
No,
insane.
you'll be great. And I've
also
never
don't really
gone
need
into
it.
a booth situation and walked out and been like, oh no, ever. And I've literally gone in 100 booths. So when people are like nervous about getting spray tans in the
Yeah.
booth, don't. It's not going to be a Ross on Friends situation. That doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
If anything, you'll be like, well, there's nothing here. Like
Yeah.
you'll maybe look a little orange, but it goes away. Just everyone gets spray tans. Just try it out once. Your hotness goes up like 4 points.
You
It's
honestly
crazy.
look so much better.
Well,
It's
I mean, I'm
crazy.
like a Long Island bitch too.
But you
so
have
it's
a
like
great
skin
I'm
tone.
Greek, so I've never had to.
Oh.
I'm kind of lucky with my skin. Like I got my mom's skin. I have good Greek
Yeah,
skin, so I
that's-
tan very easily. But being from Long Island, it's like the tan is prized above all else.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
GTL, baby.
yeah, for sure. And it's like I'll still be attracted to those kinds of guys, like against my will now.
Really?
Like the
100%.
Jersey Shore type guys.
Yes.
Like even though I'm like, oh God, never. I'm like, oh God, always.
Or if they're
Yeah.
Armenian.
Yeah,
that's
right.
my
Can't
fault.
help it.
Yeah.
See, and but when someone has like a great tan, it's just like, yeah, you know what's up.
What's going on with you currently, Matt, in your relationship? You're in a new relationship.
Yeah, I guess I am.
How did you guys meet?
Well, so I'm very, very dear friends with my friend Joel Kim Booster, and
Yes, I love Joel.
I kind of came out to LA because I was writing on the show The Other Two on Comedy Central, and I was like, I was here for the first.
I love that show.
It's it's a
much.
great show.
Congratulations on being a part of that show, and
It's so
thank
great.
you for all the laughs.
Well,
It's so
I mean,
good.
we thank Chris Kelly and Sarah Schneider, but so season 2 is on its way, And but the thing is, I kind of was coming here and I didn't really have I did have that anxiety because I'm in New York all my life. And I was like, LA, it's going to be a whole new social scene. And Joel was like, hang out with me and all my friends. And so I hung out with him, and then I met one of his friends, and we became very close best friends. And it's weird. I never thought that was going to transfer into a relationship. And then it did. Literally one day I was like, why do I have my instinct to put my arm around this person?
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God.
How long were you guys friends before that?
We were extremely close friends for 4 months, and then it became something real. And I'm telling you, we were so close where I had to put contacts in my eyes, and I had never done. I had to put contacts in my eyes for a bit that I was doing, and I had never done it before because I don't need glasses or anything. Yeah. And he was like, "Let me help you." This is the kind of person who put contact lenses in my eye, touched my eyeball
before he
close.
touched your penis.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so then all of a sudden it was just kind of oh, I'm already comfortable with this person. I know I already love this person.
Yeah.
And then I had that instinct, and I was like, oh no. Because it was maybe now I have to see this through. And so far, so good. Yesterday.
So when did it happen where you were took it to that?
So do you know who the musical artist Betty Who is?
No.
I've heard.
Okay, so she's a kind of a pop star for the gays.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to see her at the Fonda Theater here in LA. And I after that concert, I kind of checked in with one of his friends, and I'm like, hey, he just asked me to go over and watch the episode of Big Little Lies tonight. It is 1 a.m. Should I do that?
Yeah.
And she was like, you should do that if you want to do that, because I think that it would be a fun watch. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I felt my body just go into shock. And I was like, oh my God, am I actually going to take a leap like this with my friend? Because
and
it's also
how long before that concert were you do I like this person?
4 or 5 days.
Okay, so it had just switched for you.
It had just turned the corner, and I was like, oh no, now I can't stop thinking about who is my closest friend here. And that's
But did you try to kick the feelings? Or
no, not really, because I just thought this probably is nothing. It's probably just me being close to someone, right?
Yeah.
And then I was just no, I think it's more than that. And so it just kind of happened before I could even register that it had happened. And now it's I guess 4 months later, and we had to be long distance, figuring it out while I was in New York for a while. But yeah, and now I'm here.
You guys are like Beyonce and Jay-Z. They started out as friends.
We're like Beyonce
They
and
did?
Jay-Z.
Yeah, they started as friends.
Oh my God, this is giving
for
me
a really
so much
long
hope.
time.
Yeah.
And
they've had almost no roadblocks in their relationship.
Yeah,
It's gone real smooth sailing for them.
I mean, is it a real relationship?
who knows?
We could talk.
Yeah, I mean, well, that is
don't know.
really interesting. Now, when you guys who made the first move?
Honestly, it was a thing of we literally
We're
looked at
sitting on a
we
couch
literally-
watching Big Little Lies.
Yeah, we got dropped off on the lift, and we looked at each other and went, fuck. Shit.
Cute.
All right, this is gonna happen. And then it was because I had, of course, in grade 4 hooked up with several of his friends first.
Yes, and you guys had probably talked about that. Were you sharing details about each other's
Oh my
sex
God,
lives?
he knew that I was so into one of his close friends.
Oh my
and
God.
Yeah, he was he had been trying to help me get with this other guy for several months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was just kind of why is this? I don't know. It's just weird the way things work out, because I'm the kind of person that fixates on every sexual and romantic interaction I have.
Me too.
I guess I'm, not to be pejorative or whatever, but I'm quote unquote like a girl with this stuff, where it's I really invest. And then all of a sudden this thing was just oh, this is comfortable, healthy, good thing. Maybe this, Matt Rogers, maybe this for once in your life.
Yes.
Instead
Wait,
of,
this is exactly a romantic comedy
It
where
really
you
is.
realize it's your best friend all along.
yeah. Can you imagine if it wasn't two men and someone would make it?
No.
Exactly.
I can't.
Yeah, I know. Entertainment industry. But no, it's really it's been a good thing. Yesterday went to Disneyland.
Oh, cute.
Fun.
It was kind of gross, adorable.
Yeah,
I love
and so
that.
now you live here now. So
I
you did the
do.
long distance thing for 4 months, and then you moved here, and that's so. Are you living with him?
No, oh my God.
Good.
And my mom literally checked in with me. She's like, hey, you're not spending every day there, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, no. And she's like, good. You need to not do that. I mean, I
Yeah.
think she kind of knows who I am.
Yeah. So, what's been your longest relationship before this?
I was in a relationship for 2.5 years.
Okay.
And it was it was like a wonderful guy, but just like kind of what you were saying before, like just not compatible.
Yeah.
Like there's that one, it's so crazy how you can get into a relationship with someone and 98% of it can be so great and fun and work. And that 2% is what will kill it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow, I would kill for a 98%.
A 98%.
Damn.
But like that 2% can be like something that you fixate on.
And it's the deal breaker 2%.
Yeah.
It's like the very important 2%.
Yeah. Especially when
if they buy 2% milk and you're vegan.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
sorry.
If that's the 2%,
Yeah,
then
that's
we're
it.
not going to have this. You need to make a concession here.
Yeah. And then Leah, you have recently kind of had a similar thing where you're a friend of yours. You've been maybe entertaining the idea.
Yeah, so it's hard because I tuck and rolled out of a very dramatic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done this before in my life, but I ghosted a boyfriend.
A boyfriend.
A boyfriend.
You ghosted.
I had to. There was no way out.
Explain.
We were so dramatic. It was emotionally abusive, and I didn't realize how much abuse I was taking until I was out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, there was body shaming, there was face shaming, and I thought it was all under the guise of him just wanting me to be better version of myself.
Boy.
Because I was so in love with him and I got so wrapped up into
Is this
it.
guy was he a model or something?
He's a very, very successful actor and singer.
Oh my God. I can't wait till the mics are off.
Yeah, no, I won't reveal who he is, but we had a very tumultuous relationship, and there were always shady moments with other girls. And anytime I caught him, I'd block him, we'd break up, I'd send him screenshots, then he'd send me these messages, we'd get back together, and it was
How long was this going on?
10 months.
And how did you guys meet?
We met on set.
Oh, wow.
And it was odd because I had auditioned for a short film 2 years prior. Sometimes you just
His short film?
No, it was just a short film. A randomly very high budgeted short film.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to throw that in there to make myself sound important. Did it work? And so then 2 years after, my agent calls. He's like, "Hey, so they just called asking if you come in and do this like small day player role." And I was like, "Sure, I'm not doing anything else." And actually, I'm very busy, just to make myself sound important. And I went in, I did it, and this guy, I was actually sending a breakup message to someone I had been dating very briefly. And then I looked up and he's just looking at me. And this guy is like, "Hey, where are you from?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, here we go." Like I kind of knew. And we just started laughing. We had the same sense of humor. We made each other laugh so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a hotter guy on set that I was totally barking up his tree. I would not leave this guy alone. And this other guy kept coming over. He went to Starbucks, got me my favorite coffee, came back in. And I was like, "Oh, he's relentless."
Mm-hmm.
And then the hot guy just ignored me. He threw me away like yesterday's lunch. And then this guy was like, "Why don't you?" My part ended up getting cut by the end. They realized they didn't have time to film me. So I was there for literally the whole day.
Just for no reason.
For no reason, except
Just
for to
to meet
meet this
them.
person.
Mm-mm.
And then he was like, "Let me take you to dinner," like blah, blah. And I was like, "I will only go to dinner if it's a block from my house." And he's like, "Okay, where do you want to go?" I said, "La Poubelle." And he said, "I live a block from La Poubelle."
Wow.
And it was crazy. We lived... Have you ever lived walking distance from someone in LA?
No, that's rare.
crazy.
Unbelievable. So it felt meant to be. This whole thing felt meant to be.
Of course.
And we had the best first date I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh my God.
Nonstop laughter. He also doesn't drink. And I just fell in love so easily.
Mm-hmm.
We laughed for maybe 5 hours nonstop. And then it just took off to the races. We were married from the moment we met, basically.
You were like boyfriend and girlfriend first night.
Well, I thought that. I think he's extremely famous and didn't want to commit until he realized there were no other options that were better than me. Until we broke up. No, I don't know. I think it was harder for him to give in. It took about 2 months for him to call me.
Were you aware of him
girlfriend.
before you met him?
No.
You didn't know how
He's not from
guy?
this country.
Okay, so he's really famous elsewhere.
Yes.
And so everywhere you would go, though, he would get recognized by people from that.
Wild.
It's weird when you date an
my
international. I
gosh.
dated an international
we've talked
celebrity,
about
and
this
it was
one.
like everywhere we went, I was like, why do people know who you are? But
we went
yeah, there's
to...
other places besides the United States, I realized.
Yeah, we were in Six... Wait, I don't think that's true. We were in Six Flags in Mexico, and we needed a security guard.
Wow.
People, we couldn't take one step without people coming up and taking photos.
Wow.
And honestly, it wasn't great.
No.
Yeah, no.
There was no freedom in it. I didn't feel relaxed. I wasn't
Did
having
you get paparazzi?
fun. Well, no, he honestly didn't want us. We never took photos together.
Ugh.
He said that he would let his PR team introduce me if we were together for a year.
Oh, God.
Which
Oh my
is
God.
honestly a little despicable. But also, I don't think he liked the way I looked ever. There were a lot of issues.
Well, obviously he hated the way he looked.
Yeah.
Which is, if anyone criticizes you, it's because they're deeply insecure.
You are describing a nightmare person.
Yeah, I love nightmares.
Narcissists.
Who are wrapped in a
Yeah.
dream. Yeah,
Yes.
it's great. No, I don't really want to talk shit about him because
You're scared.
Yes, mortified.
Yeah,
So terrified.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the thing is,
So you had to ghost this guy.
I had to leave because what happened was I had confronted him about, if you're my boyfriend, I'm checking your Instagram. I'm
Yeah.
checking the girls you follow. Like, just know it. Just know that's what's happening. And I have the right to.
Yeah.
And then I have the right to ask you about them because
public.
I want to feel safe. Yes, it's public information. And if you're flirting with people publicly, I'm going to call you out on it.
Yeah,
Sure.
what is it?
And so there was this girl that I had asked him about because all of a sudden he was all over her stories and they just became friends and she had the heart emojis all over him. And I was like,
What?
No, dude, And so then I confronted him about it and he made me feel stupid. He was like, it's nothing. She's an old friend. I'm like, then how come you just started following her? And how come you're right? And then a couple weeks later, he flew to go visit her.
Yuck.
Lied to me and said he was working. It was nothing in his stories, just in hers. And
he has no idea that you're seeing this?
I mean, he knows because I already brought her up.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have assumed that he had quelled my fears of her. You know what I mean? And so I might not have looked, but he knows. He knew.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. And so then I just, instead of doing what I normally did, which was screenshot, send it, tell him it's over, get dramatic, I was just like, a guy friend of mine took my phone and just blocked him on everything.
Love it.
Yeah, why not?
Good
And-
job, girl.
Yeah, and it was
He doesn't deserve a
No.
reason. He doesn't deserve a conversation. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, no, it's over. And he recently sent me a really dramatic and pathetic apology
Yeah.
that I
You love to get those though when someone is just like looking so bad.
but it was even so vain.
Ugh.
It was
course it
still
was.
all about him, and I
Of
was like,
course.
I
Confirms
wrote myself,
everything.
yes, I
Yeah.
wrote myself my own apology in 3 minutes, and it was
Uh-huh.
infinitely better. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I could just give this to myself. I'll move
Love
on.
that.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. But now I'm talking to someone who's nice to me, which is really confusing for
Now,
me.
who is this?
He's a friend. He's a friend. And it's hard for me because I'm honestly really afraid to let people in right now.
Yeah.
I'm open to love, but I'm really terrified.
Where is this guy come from? So he was a friend, much like Matt's story?
Yeah, he's a friend, but he's a new friend.
Okay.
And it's interesting because I wasn't interested at first because I think that we're a little different
Mm-hmm.
and very similar at the same time. Like, we're both Jewish, and I don't usually like to date Jews. I like to date anyone who doesn't look like me.
Right.
Persian
Interesting.
men, Middle Eastern men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're going outside your type, which might be a good thing because it hasn't been working before.
I know, but I want my babies to survive the apocalypse. And if they're just
They're
like
not going
white
to.
Jews,
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
no
one's
one will.
going to.
They'll
Apocalypse
just-
is going to be very final.
They
And
won't.
it's going to be really fast.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
I know,
Yeah.
but they won't survive allergy season. You know, like
Right.
they're out, they're dead, and
We'll
they'll
get
be
that
so
deviated
fair.
septum fixed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully someone in my family will get a nose job. Why can't it be me? You know, why can't
So
it be me?
you're now. What's gone on with this guy so
Nothing.
far?
Nothing,
You just have a
nothing.
crush. You have a brewing crush, or
It's
does he know?
So
at
much.
all?
I think he knows. I think that we've been flirting a little bit now, where we've
think
just been
he
going
knows
on.
Taylor Swift,
that-
my
There's-
favorite song on the
There's
album,
a
number
song
one.
called "I Think He Knows" on Taylor Swift's new album that you should be jamming out to.
It is a bop.
Are you guys gonna get mad if I tell you I haven't listened to the album?
That's fine.
No,
I'm
but
not gonna
I'll,
get mad.
it's you need to listen to the song "The Man."
Okay.
Like I don't know if I don't care if you don't like Taylor Swift. If you're a girl out there, you're gonna love "The Man."
Yeah, it's
it's
really
a
good.
song. It's the best song that I've ever had.
It's
in my
not that I
life.
don't like her. It's just that I jammed out to Celine Dion this morning. Like that's where I'm
Yeah,
at
I get
right
it.
now.
And I respect the fuck out of that.
I do
What
too.
song?
Thank you. That's the way it is.
That's the
Oh,
way
yeah.
it is the way it
Love.
is.
And that's the way it is. Okay,
Oh,
I love
iconic,
it.
So good.
I love
iconic.
it. Okay, but just "The Man," Taylor Swift. Just trust me
I'm
on this.
on it.
Okay, so you think he knows?
I think he knows because we keep going on dates without making out, you know, where we spend many, many hours together and then we sit on his porch and just look at each other. And then I'm like, I gotta
he's gotta
go.
make a move.
That's
He's gotta
the
make a
thing.
move.
Oh, but the thing
When is he gonna make a move?
He doesn't have to make a move. You
Yeah, I
can
have to
also
make a
make
No,
a
no,
move.
no.
What do you
No.
mean?
Matt, no. This does not work this way. No. There's a book that all my listeners know I'm obsessed with. It's called Getting To I Do. Whitney Cummings recommended it to me because I ran into her backstage one night and I said, Whitney, why are you engaged now? You've always been like lost in love. I've watched you from afar. You're just like me, like on Tinder and all these things. And then suddenly you have this boyfriend. You're saving horses. You just seem happy. And she goes, I read a book, Getting To I Do. Now the book is just the blanket statement of the book. Receive. Only let men come to you. Don't do any of the work because you're taking away the chase, which is such a part of it for them. I'm reading this new book, blowing my mind.
What's it called, Nikki?
It's Whitney also recommended it to me flippantly on my show. Like I had Whitney on my show and I was like, Getting To I Do has changed my life. You recommended it to me backstage one night. I've told all my friends. My friends all have boyfriends now because of this book.
Oh my God.
These guys that they were pursuing for years. I have a friend that's been pursuing a guy for 5 years who is worthless. You know the friend where you're like, just shut up about this guy.
Yeah.
I might have to not be friends with you anymore because this guy is
can't do it anymore.
Such a disappointment continually. This guy just broke up with his girlfriend to be with my friend because she worked the book on him. She just followed the rules of this goddamn book. And it doesn't go against yourself as a woman. It actually honors you as a woman and makes you check back in with yourself of stop running after these guys. If a guy likes you, he'll come after you. It's all if he's not that into you kind of rules.
Yeah.
Of like,
right, sure.
If the guy's meant to be, he'll come after you, but you're doing it wrong by ever pursuing them in any way. You have to just receive, be feminine, put out the energy that you're open. It's all about that. So, but then there's this other book that I'm reading called that Whitney on my show, when she was on my show, she goes, oh, if you like that book, you should read, she goes, the other book that changed my life, Cupid's Poison Arrow. And she said it just like in passing and I go, okay, cool. Then one of my listeners wrote to me and goes, Nikki, legit,
that's real.
That's the book.
Yeah.
That's the book. So I just read I'm like in chapter 3 and it's all about how orgasms are ruining our lives.
Wait, what?
Explain.
Yeah.
Orgasms are as human beings for thousands of years, orgasms have represented the final moment of a relationship between two humans. There's no reason to continue past that. Yes, the man will go hunt and provide for you and throw some fucking mastodon meat your way because he knocked you up, hopefully. Yeah. But the tribe is going to really take care of you and the baby. The man has no reason to stick around. A man can't get a woman pregnant twice if he's already come in her. So when a guy comes, his urge to flee that scenario is not his fault. It's not about you. It is when they put rats in. This is a good example.
It's not human nature to stay with a partner.
There's no purpose for it.
Right.
To still be romantic feelings and these feelings of intimacy and falling for someone. They all are there so that humans are drawn to fuck each other and make more humans.
But that's why I'm trying to marry a Catholic guy. Catholic guilt, baby.
Yes. Well, this is the new thing. Is like if we have to acknowledge that orgasms deplete us, they depress us, they lead to and we don't need to be having as many as we're having. That's
not what my vibrator says, but okay.
I will tell you that women are now and there's this empowerment movement that the book talks about, which is like women should be coming all the time, multiple orgasms. For years we were denied orgasms, and now vibrators and clit suckers and just come all the time. My whole special is about like we need to come more, and now I'm like, oh no, we need to be coming less because the evidence in this book is backed by science, and I'm only 3 chapters in, and it's like orgasms are not good, and you can have a really great, amazing, intimate, long-lasting love and sex life with your partner without orgasms, or managing orgasms in a way that's really, really sexy. I'm getting fucking turned on reading this book.
You know when guys say that they don't want to come because it releases their chi, and you're just like, shut up. No,
it's true, dude. I mean, this goes back to ancient texts. They find all these ancient texts from the Sumatrans, the Chinese, thousands of years ago of like orgasms being the worst thing because afterwards you get depressed because they had less stimulus back then. So when they got sad or wanted to kill themselves or they could trace it to like, oh, well, I came a couple days ago. They're not like, oh, it's because I didn't get a job I wanted. Like we have so many other things we can put our depression on. And we go, oh, it's an excuse. Oh, I talked to my mom on the phone. Oh, I was in traffic. That's why I'm feeling this way. Or was it because you came really hard 5 days ago?
I just wonder what my excuse is then, because I never have sex.
My thing is like, I used to be a competitive track athlete, and they would always say, my coach would tell me in high school, don't jack off before the races.
Wait, I'm confused because at the Olympics, all they do is hand out free condoms to everyone.
But they don't fuck until after they've competed. And after they competed, they all fuck each other. But they also say, like, before you perform on stage, don't come. Don't before you go do something important you're going to do, give a speech or whatever, do not come before it, because that sort of like pent up thing, or that sort of like I don't know what you would call it, like I guess your chi not being released can stay within you, and like you perform better and then come later when you're ready to chill.
There's this really interesting part of the book that I've just stumbled upon, which is exactly that. And it's like well, first of all, she states like it's obvious for men why they after they come. So they give an example of rats. They put a rat in a cage and they inject a female rat with all the hormones that make her like so in heat, like the sexiest rat on the block.
The pheromones are flowing.
Yes, and they inject, and the male rat is ready to mate. Like they don't inject him with, he's normal. So they fuck, right?
Yeah.
And the woman is still injected with the hormones. So she's like, let's do more. And there's no reason that this rat cannot do more. The rat is not depleted of enough energy. They've studied the rat. The rat's not tired. The rat is checked out though, doesn't want to fuck the female anymore. He's passed out in the corner of the cage, and the female's like, come on. And he's just like, no, bitch. They take that female rat out, put in a new one. He's ready to go again. Now, that is exactly what happens with us. Why men want novelty is because you can't get a woman pregnant twice. There's no point for you to have romantic feelings for the same woman that you just came with. So if you stave off orgasm, you can have this long-lasting, building, amplifying connection and desire for one another. And it's not to say that you never get to come. I haven't read the rest of the book, but she lays out a plan for how you can have the most rewarding sex life that actually makes your life so much better. And then the point that I was going to make also is that she said there are a lot of women that just don't come from like, and I'm one of these women. I just never had an orgasm until I was 21, never masturbated, just never felt compelled to do so. Then I was on antidepressants, didn't really feel the need to ever orgasm either. I would do it from sex, but like I wasn't having sex a lot. So I'd have like one orgasm every like 5 months, like just not, and I'm still that way. I'm just not someone who's like compelled to go jerk off a lot. I go through spurts if I have a crush on a guy, and it's like, but she says that women, it's obvious for men that after orgasm they kind of they check out, but women it's a little less so, because after orgasm for women it's usually like this couple days of bliss, of feeling like really high, really great, and then the days after you feel more depressed, more sluggish, and that's what she cited as like side effects of coming. And she said that women that don't orgasm are usually hyper successful and driven, and she kind of described me of like, I know it like affects your career. Like I think that I've achieved more than I would if I were coming all the time.
Wait, can we talk again when you finish the book? What if the final sentence is like, and that's why you should come all the time? You know, like there's a big plot twist. Is it weird that when you're talking about that sexy female rat, all I could think of was the green M&M?
That's her.
Yes, just like always DTF. That green M&M is such a slut.
Yeah, she's a little whore.
She's my favorite character. What you're saying, like I'm connecting with too, like in the gay community, because like every single time I felt like I fucked up a relationship or an interaction with a guy, it's because I made it about sex too early.
Yeah.
I constantly do that. It's like a thing I do, is like I'll like someone and I'll find out they like me back and we immediately hook up. And it's just, and then it's kind of gets weird because guys get weird. I get weird. Like
I think everyone gets weird.
Everyone gets weird.
Because I make sex so precious. To me, I'm like, unless I feel safe and comfortable around you, which takes 10 to 45 years, like I can't have sex
No,
with
I
you.
agree. And Leah, that's what also this Getting To I Do book says, is like, and women, if you're just now getting into this show and haven't heard me talk about this forever, if you're sleeping with a guy and he's not your boyfriend, he has no reason to be your boyfriend. Literally no reason. Why would he be your boyfriend? Unless you go off and are like, I'm going to sleep with other people. But let's be honest, bitch. You don't want to sleep with anyone else. You like this guy. You want him to be your boyfriend. It's going to be hard to fake like you're dating other guys. And you're going to have to fake it because you don't want to fuck anyone else. So you're latched onto this guy who has no reason to commit to you because you're giving him everything he wants. So Leah, you're right. I don't sleep with anyone unless they're my boyfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of guys are like, well, how do I know if the sex is going to be good? Why would I commit to something? Well, if it's not good, we'll break up. But I'm not I'm not going to enter into something that I'm so slow with dudes, so slow.
But it's also because a
painful.
relationship shouldn't be about sex. So if it's built off of a real relationship, of friendship, I know a lot of people who say that they married their best friend, this and that the sex was bad for the first 4 months. But because they love each other so deeply, they figure it out.
It gets there.
Yeah, they work on it. But it has to be, it's a mutual agreement for two people to really work on it.
It scares me too. Because
I just want it to be sex. I want to fuck someone, and then I want to, and that's my problem, because I wait so long with these guys who I just want to fuck, and it's not, I don't like them other than that.
And the fact of the matter is, like, some of these, like, not strangers, but guys I've hooked up with after knowing them for a couple minutes, I'll have some of the best sex I've ever had with those guys. Yeah. And especially when you really like someone, it's not exactly there. And especially as a guy, this is a thing. And as a gay man, I'm speaking, but like, when the sex is so fucking good elsewhere, even if someone is amazing and you feel like the sex isn't there right away, something happens in your brain where you're like, well, why figure this out when like this relationship could be something else and there's so many other guys to like fuck who want
that's
it
an
like
intimacy
this.
issue, because
it is an intimacy issue.
That's like being able to tell your deepest, darkest secrets to a stranger, but to someone you're super close to, not being able to tell them and be vulnerable
and
with
it's
them.
just replace sex with that.
And you're right, because sex takes a while to get good.
Yep.
And we can't measure the people that maybe not. It takes time. It shouldn't. Sometimes it's not hot right away, and it builds to that. But I know what you're saying. It's like, why would I even work on this if I can just go get something that is going to turn me on right away?
Easy,
down the
right
corner.
away. Literally, truly, like.
I mean, the best sex of my life was with someone who's been to jail more than 50 times and lied to me about his age by 9 years. He said he owned 7 properties, and when my friend got a background check on him, he owned none, which was the worst part of that. You know,
when a guy owns property, it's so hot. So hot.
I was in. I was wet for the property.
Wet for the mortgage.
I know.
Isn't that a shame though, when someone gets you off like you've never known before and you just don't want to talk to them? Like, you're like, why? Like, it almost makes you feel like that's what'll keep you dating. You know what I mean? Like, because you have to be able to find someone that can provide both, right?
Yes.
You have to. As I claw at my face.
I know.
Yeah.
And I think you can. It's like, I like 2 guys right now. Or I like 1 guy right now so much sexual chemistry. I think he's so funny. I like him so much. He constantly is like, I want to take you on a date outside of comedy. He's a comedian. He's like, outside of comedy, whenever we like, intimately talk, it's always like at the Comedy Cellar, like at a table. It's always like in between sets. He's always got to go. I got to go. Then we like go in the corner and we make out for a little bit. And and he doesn't care if other comedians see, which I kind of love.
That's
like,
hot.
That is hot.
Because I've always been kind of like hidden when I date comedians. They always want to like keep it away from
claiming you.
Yeah, and he like posts on his Instagram. He'll do like the heart eyes emoji, like zooming in on me on stage. Like,
he likes you.
He declares it, but he will not ask me out on a date. He will not take it to the next.
I don't love
but
that.
This is the thing. This is the thing I'm saying though, and I know there are books on this that say otherwise, but I think he is kind of extending the interest.
Yeah, but it's not in the way in which we like.
What am I supposed to do with it? I've told him I would love to go on a date with you.
Oh, you've said that.
Oh yeah, he goes, I want to take you on a date. I said I would love that. When I was been here in LA for 3 weeks, and he wrote like, I miss you. I miss seeing you. Come back to New York. I'm like, I'm coming back this day. Like
you gave him the goddamn date.
Yeah. You gave him the blueprint, and he's not doing anything with it.
He knows. I think he knows, and he does, and it's not happening. So,
but how do you feel about 2 comedians dating?
I realized yesterday, I was meditating on it, and I was like, oh, wait a second. I really need someone
who gets it.
I do need someone who gets it. I want someone who's a comedian. I want someone to be in the business. I want to laugh all the time with them. I want them to understand my life, but I also want someone to take care of me and to help me like process everything I'm going through, and to be at tapings, and to be backstage with me, and to work on my stuff with me. And if I'm dating another comedian at the same level of success, that's just I'm not going to have that person there most of the time, unless we figure out like if I date a comedian, I also need them to be able to put their fucking stuff on the back burner and be there for me and not make it about them.
Right.
And I need to be able to do the same for them.
Would you date someone less successful?
No.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
No, it has to be the same level or more.
But
just as men only date women as attractive or more attractive, I only date men as successful or more successful. And as a woman, you only date as attractive or less attractive.
100%.
Women don't get to date more attractive, but I will date more successful than me.
I have dated guys who are more attractive than me, and when we walked down the street, people thought I was the one with money.
Right.
Like, he was so hot. Yeah. I honestly didn't even know what he wanted with me.
Can I share with you what I did yesterday? So I went on this date. I went on a Raya date, like, I don't know.
I can't believe you actually met up with someone off the app.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it either. My friends were like, Nikki, stop talking a game and go out and do it. This guy was really cute. He asked me out. I went over to his place to like smoke pot.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to go out with it. I just wanted to like go in. I wanted to get high, to be honest.
See, and that would immediately lead to sex for me.
Really?
What?
Yes.
That's all?
If I ever go to someone's house and it's like the connotation is let's smoke weed, my dick is out.
I mean, I think he thought that I was going to fuck him. But like the vibe that wasn't the vibe. As soon as we got there, it was flirty. It was fun.
Yeah.
He was really cute. We smoked weed. It was great conversation. Then all of a sudden he gets a text about a work thing and is like, oh fuck, and gets on a call. So I thought it was like this fake emergency. I was certain of it because at the same time, all of his roommates came home. I've already told this on air, but all of his roommates came home and were like running around the house. It was like all of a sudden a circus at this guy's house that was like up in a really nice house. He's very successful, really sweet. Like I was having such a good time and it was open to like making out and seeing where it was going. Then all of a sudden his roommates show up. It is a fucking carnival in his house. And none of them, he's on the phone talking to his agent, yelling about something. No. None of them are acknowledging.
You lost me at roommates.
None of them.
I'm out. Yeah.
Well, one roommate and then a bunch of friends, but none of them are acknowledging that I exist. They're talking to him and they're looking through me and I'm just like, what the fuck?
No,
it was weird.
No, gross.
So I all of a sudden go, oh my God, this is a fake emergency. He's asked these people to come in and create a diversion so that he has an excuse that, and then I go, I'm going to go. And he goes, okay. And I go, okay, well, this guy wants me out. So he called me an Uber there. I'm like, get a Lyft share home myself. I'm on a stoop being like, fuck this guy. I'm so mad. He texted me later being like, sorry about that. And I was like, yeah, that wasn't ideal. And I thought literally he made up a fake emergency. It was so obvious to me. So then a week later, he reaches out and he's like, hey, I really want to see you again. And I'm like, I got to be honest. I thought I got fake emergencied. And he's like, no, that was legit. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. That was just bad timing. I'm so sorry. And I was like, okay, well, I'm maybe open to seeing you again. And then he's been texting a bunch being like, when are you going to be in town? When can I see you again? Let's hang out again. Like, I mean, it's like,
the endless text with no meetup is so frustrating.
A lot of me.
Yeah, he be texting.
But I'm never available. Like he really wants to meet up. Okay. And I'm just like feeling weird about the last time still because the roommate, the people he associates himself with were so rude to me that I was like, then there's something wrong with
red
him.
Flag.
Yeah.
Like he was nice, but his roommates literally didn't even look at me.
That's a red flag.
That's disgusting.
And so he's like, what are you up to? Well, maybe later this week. Are you still working on the roast? No worries. Hit me. I go, I'm busy right now. No worries. Hit me up next week. You crushed it on the roast. Hope to see you this week. I said, thank you. I have Conan today. I'll text you tomorrow. Sounds good. Break a leg. And he goes, I'm tied up around, then this is yesterday. I'm tied up around 9 tonight with an NYU alumni event, but around later this week.
The biggest red flag. I say it as an NYU alumni. It is the red flag is sailing the ship.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I
we didn't need to know that
and
detail.
then I realized I can keep kicking this can down the road, but I need to be honest with this guy because this is just going to be a lot of me making up excuses. I'm busy. So I go, I really love the effort you're making to see me again, and I think you're so hot, and I had a lot of fun with you until the chaos that erupted at the end of our last hang. That awkwardness and how weird I felt has stayed with me a little too much, and I'm sorry, but I don't think I can hang. Wow. It's just the way I feel, and I want to be honest with you. But again, you're super cute and nice and smart and funny, and I hope to run into you down the road.
Did he say anything back?
LOL, gotcha.
Oh my God.
See, and that's everything right there. That's
honestly,
everything right there. LOL, gotcha.
To be honest, though, I respect that. Because here's why I respect that. Because I've dealt with so many shitty dudes that when you send them an honest message, then
they get defensive.
Then they get defensive, and those are mean.
Yep.
I didn't like you anyway. I can't believe you thought this and that. It's like, whoa, I'm sorry that your ego just got so bruised because I like nicely said goodbye.
I mean, that's crazy, but also LOL gotcha is that thing you say to like make someone feel bad about what they said.
Oh, you're so, like, oh, LOL, like you're
you're crazy.
You're crazy.
That is the coded language right there.
Oh, is that gaslighting?
That's essentially what he's doing is being like, LOL, okay, crazy bitch.
You.
Like, and meanwhile, he could just as easily have been like, I understand that was a weird situation.
I know.
Good luck.
Yeah. Some goodwill because by the way, you're gonna want to be friends with me. me, I'm gonna be pretty famous. And
You're
work in the
already
industry.
famous.
Come on. But LOL gotcha.
LOL gotcha.
Matt Rogers is here. Leah Lamar is here. We have a lot of show ahead of us. We got to get to break, but you guys, let's talk about Boll and Branch sheets. I got mine suddenly. They sent me Boll and Branch sheets finally, and I love them so much. They are on my bed in New York waiting for me, and I can't wait to get back to that bed. I hate the sheets at my hotel right now. Boll and Branch sheets, they're so dewy and soft and just velvety, and they're the best. They're cool. I don't sweat too much in them. I love Boll and Branch sheets. I will never buy a different kind of sheet brand. They are truly the best I've found. They're made from the finest organic cotton on earth. It's 100% rain-fed and non-toxic. That means no harmful chemicals or pesticides are used at any point in the process. They start out soft and get softer and softer over time. $1,000 sheets, guys, for a couple $100, and you're going to find them all over in 5-star hotels, luxury estates. They're definitely not in my hotel right now because it's fucking 3. Plus, this summer, get 100 nights to fall in love with your new Boll and Branch sheets, and you can send them back within those 100 nights if you don't like them. Shipping is always free, and right now you will get $50 off your first set. $50, that's a lot of money, guys, off your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com with promo code Nikki, spelled Boll and Branch, BOLL and branch.com. Promo code Nikki for $50 off. Get yourself some new sheets. You deserve it. We'll be back with more with Matt Rogers and Leah Lamar on You Up with Nikki Glaser after this. Looking to switch up your style? Well, you should try a new pair of glasses, because when you change your frames, you change everything. With iBuyDirect.com, it is so easy. EYEBUI Direct.com has over 1,000 frames to choose from, starting at just $6. Whether you're looking for a statement piece or an everyday staple, iBuyDirect.com has you covered. They understand that glasses are an accessory, the most important one. Shop from your couch and have them delivered directly to your door. Plus, for every pair of glasses you purchase on iBuyDirect.com, a pair of glasses will be donated to someone in need. You can even pick the country where they're sent. With 14-day worry-free returns and a 12-month product replacement guarantee policy, buying frames has never been so easy. Go to iBuyDirect.com and pick your stylish prescription frames today. That's iBuyDirect.com, EYEBUI Direct.com. And we're back. It's You Up with Nikki Glaser. I am here with Leah Lamar. You can follow her on Instagram, LEAH Lamar, LAMARR. And then Matt Rogers from Las Culturistas podcast, which if you enjoy this show or my podcast, you're going to love his, because I have so many listeners that listen to both and have messaged me over and over about Matt, being like, you need to have Matt on the show. And I finally have you on here, and I'm so excited that you're here.
Yeah, this conversation is reminding me of my podcast.
Matt Rogers, though.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. You guys cover the same
terrain.
Yeah, the same terrain. It's all so
it's great
complicated.
terrain.
It's great terrain. We love the thing is, like, you can forget sometimes you're on a podcast or a radio show when you start talking about your personal life, but then people do call in and they write it and they say, we love hearing that.
Yeah. Last week I was really depressed all week. I just was having one of those. Yeah. What you were talking about after SNL, like a dip, and I have dips after like big events. Like I did the roast, and then I had another I had another taping I did the roast on a Saturday at a Netflix taping on Thursday, and the Netflix taping I just wasn't feeling prepared for because I dumped everything into the roast. The roast, I felt weird about my performance. It hadn't aired yet.
You were great on the roast.
Thank you. But
can I just say, and I know that you probably don't care, you've heard this a million times, at least I hope you have, literally everyone was talking about how you were the star of the night. I'm not joking.
Even better because I forgot 2 jokes and I couldn't let it go. I couldn't let it go.
I know what you mean. I know.
You just make a misstep. It's like,
of course.
I felt like a figure skater who like got the gold, but I missed the triple axel. And I only got
the gold, but not the moment.
Well, yeah, like you would have been talking about the 2 jokes that I forgot. Like those would be everywhere.
Was it a time thing, or you just kind of?
It was a clerical error made in Google Docs of when I have so many docs going when I'm preparing for these roasts. I am a showrunner. I hire a staff of writers. I don't make any money because I've hired so many people that if you're listening and you wrote for me for the roast, I have not paid you yet. I'm so sorry. I've been too busy, but I have all of it coming out soon. So what happened was I did Control X on a joke to move it.
Motherfucker.
Someone comes in the room and goes, hey, do you want to get a coffee or something? And then I go, yeah, well, and then I go back to the document and I don't know that this thing has been X'd and not pasted somewhere else.
Yep.
The joke is gone. I go out and take it out that night. No one notices. I don't notice until I'm off. I'm on stage. I get off. It's not until I'm on stage after I've performed and someone mentioned something that reminded me of the joke. And there's probably footage of my face just like,
yeah,
and being like, can I get back up there? Like, can we just do it real quick? Like, there was, that's why I want to someday be an EP on the show, because I would have just been like, hey, because Jeff Ross is an EP on the show.
Right.
I would have stopped down and been like, I forgot 2 jokes. Can I just get back up and do them?
Yeah.
But you can't do it. So
But your star shined the brightest. And Jeff, of course. Like, you guys are so fucking funny.
I fucking love the roast every year. I live for the roast.
They're so fun.
Yeah,
I
because
know.
they're the last thing that still exists, where it's like a safe space to do any fucking thing you want, which I do
love. And
love.
Robert De Niro,
I know.
My mind
It
was broken.
crazy.
My mind was broken. Wait, also, what were the jokes? It's so funny because
I must save them because I might be going on a show to do them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I hope you do.
Yeah,
maybe that'll be the best thing that comes
exactly.
out of it.
That's I've been able to look at the bright side. But that being said, I just you were saying about how like you talk on these podcasts. Your podcast is like you maybe say too much sometimes, and you're like, oh, did anyone even want to hear that shit? Mm-hmm. And last week I was just so depressed on air. I couldn't really be funny. My brain wasn't working the same way. But I got so many nice messages about like, hey, we know you were struggling, but it made me feel less weird about my struggle.
Exactly.
There's always some silver lining to all of it. And I can't do everything perfectly. I can't always nail it. And some days the show is just going to be what it is. And we do, though. Oh, and speaking of, I want to read some listener mail. Let's get to Dear You Up.
Oh, yay.
Hey, Nikki, you've got mail.
You're listening to You Up with Nikki Glaser. Today's, wait, I don't have this one. Hold on one second. Dear You Up is brought to you in part by Dish, tuned into you. To learn more, call 1-844-CALL-DISH or go to dish.com. And today's question, Dear You Up, comes to us from Groster68. I think this was on Instagram. Faithful You Up listener, first and foremost. I'm 50, happily, so not quite your demographic. I'm glad you're happy about being 50.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. I hope I'm happy when I'm 52.
Amen.
But I'll tell you that you got me back into meditation, which I thank you for. I even have my extremely conservative hubby totally into it. Can't wait to see you in Albuquerque and can't wait for the roast on Sunday. Squirt, squirt. Thank you for writing. It made me so happy to hear that your conservative husband is trying out meditation because it's hard to get people into meditating. It really is. It's just, I've struggled with it. The reason that I was depressed last week is because I just haven't had time to meditate. And it is the number one thing that has brought me so much calm and peace in my life. And it's free. People always go, I can't afford therapy. I can't afford medicine. And it's just like, it's medicine. It is. It really, truly, I did it this morning and I was able to do it yesterday and I feel it.
Do you have a place you go to and you meditate? Because I go into outer space.
You do?
And I hang out on a ring on Saturn.
Really?
Yeah. It's like what my brain has constructed as a safe space.
Oh my God, that's
cool.
You really left your body.
I don't think I'm from this planet, though. I've never thought that.
Well, okay.
Yeah, does that make sense for anyone?
Gemini.
Yeah, totally.
See, it's so funny that you say that because I have a very loud brain. It's very hard for me to meditate. But my ex, after we broke up, we lived together for like 6 months and he got into meditating at that point. And that's when I really thought, oh, I ruined this guy. But he really started to change for the better. And I was like, okay, let me try it. And then I tried it one night. I used like an app.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I did feel myself leave my body a little bit. And I got a little freaked out and I stopped.
No, Matt. Okay,
all right.
That's so
great.
Everyone thinks their minds work too much. If I can meditate, you can meditate.
Okay.
That's the laziest excuse to not meditate that everyone uses. Okay. The person driving right now in their cars goes, but I think too much. I have ADHD, all these things. I swear to you, anyone can do it. Just start out, get the Waking Up app. It's a 50-day course. Every day you just listen to a guy talk to you for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's all you need every day. And you'll see how profoundly it will change your life.
Okay.
It just will make you able to manage those stressful situations so much easier. And it just brings you a calming peace, and it takes 10 minutes.
It has changed people
meditation,
from who they were to who they are now.
So
in my life. I've seen it happen.
So do it. Do it.
Yeah.
You're really missing out on a human experience that like is inside of us and is not being tapped into, and meditation taps into this really human thing. Like it just makes you feel human, and it takes 10 minutes. It's nothing. There's no excuse
fully
not
trust
to.
you. Yeah,
it really
I
is.
believe it.
It's the best. And but yeah, and I really suffered last week because I wasn't being good about meditating, and it made me fucking crazy. So I'm so grateful for it, and I'm glad that any listener is up to it. How often do you meditate, Leah?
At least once a day. I have to, though. Meditation for me it's like a muscle, because it was so hard for me to sit still at first, and my mind would continuously be flooded with thoughts because I can't turn it off.
But that's meditating.
But that's what I'm saying. So for me, it was interesting because it's like anything else. Like if you start running, you won't be able to run 6 miles at first.
No.
You have to build up to it. And so now I get to a place where I can just completely clear my mind within 10 seconds.
Well, but that makes me a little nervous too, because there are times where, and I've been meditating for 2 years now, almost 2 years, where my mind, I think thoughts the whole time. I don't listen to a goddamn thing the guided meditation says. I put it on and I just close my eyes and I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat later, what I'm going to do for my set later. Is this guy ever going to really like me? I mean, though I'm not focusing on my breath, I'm not doing anything, still meditating. Still meditating, because thoughts are meditation. What it does is there are certain points in most meditations, whether it's a guided or whether it's just you set your timer and there's little chimes. What the chimes do, so you focus on a mantra, which is like a repeated word, or you focus on your breathing, which is almost like a repeated word. It's just a repetitive thing that doesn't really have any meaning to it. So you focus on your breath. What happens is you'll instantly start thinking about something because your thoughts start racing. Then you'll hear a chime that will remind you, hey, wait a second, you're meditating. Go back to the breath. Seconds later, you'll be back in thoughts. The chime will happen 2 minutes again. Back to the thoughts. It is in the process of going back to the breathing, acknowledging that a thought is a thing and it's not you. It's acknowledging. What it does is it trains you to be able to go away thought, even for a second. Go away thought. I got to get back to breathing. It trains that process.
Totally
so when you
in
in your waking life and your normal life and something arises that stresses you out, you can go boom, get out of here.
Yeah.
And even for a second, step away from it. And even if it comes right back, the stepping away from it for a second has given you a chance to be free of it.
Yeah.
And the
It's
hold
so
it can
true.
have on
That's
you.
so
And that's what
interesting.
meditation does. Even if you only have seconds of mindfulness during a 10-minute meditation, it's still so valuable.
Yeah.
Well, now it's in my life, in my waking life, when I hit a roadblock, it doesn't break me like it used to.
Yes.
Now I just go, okay, and move on.
Thank you, Leah. That is the number one thing I say. When I started meditating, and I've said this a million times before, but if you haven't heard it, it's just a pure example of how meditation will work in your life. Once I started meditating, I lost my purse in a cab once. I got out of the cab, just left my purse in the cab. Get up to my apartment, probably 20 minutes later before I realized I left my purse. I'm with my friend Andrew. He's like, oh my God. And I'm like, I left it in the cab. He's like, well, what do you do? I don't know. And I go, well, it's just, I guess I just got to get a new ID and like do credit cards. It's just like, usually I would go,
Panic.
you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why didn't you grab it? You always look in the back of cabs before you get out. Why didn't you do it that time? Now I have to go get a new card and like kill and cancel. And now I'm going to call the cab company. Instead, I was just like, okay, I'm going to file like calmly did everything, because literally none of that helps. None of that stress, screaming at yourself helps. It just made me, one time my apartment started flooding. Water started leaking and I had to go to work. And usually I'd go like, oh my God, like what, like grabbing things. I was just like, well, I guess I gotta just like get new clothes. Like it just.
100%. I mean, it's like you can't shame yourself for being human when you make your own mistakes. And when things out of your control happen, like flood, like, oh my God, last year when you were a judge on Roast Battle, that night, and I was like hanging out at the Saudi table and wearing a gold outfit. Yeah. My apartment lit on fire. Not my apartment, but another unit in my building. Yeah. And I literally just walked out of my apartment, called the fire department, and just kept walking. I didn't even look back. I said, hey, there's a unit on my building on fire. This is the code.
And they're like, this girl definitely started it.
Yeah. For sure. And I just like,
or she meditates.
And honestly, I was like, if everything in my apartment is gone, like, what?
Then I'll move on. Then
I'll move on with my life.
Everything will be okay. It really gives you that. And so that is, and I can't explain how it does it. As much as I can explain is just like being able to just knock those thoughts that start. And that is why last week I was in such depression, because I was going like, why did you forget those jokes? Why couldn't you have looked at? Why didn't you press Command V? Why didn't you paste that joke? How did you always press Command V? You never, when you cut something, you always paste it. And I could have gone, and that's what I was doing all last week. And it was because I had not been meditating because I was too busy and I didn't know how to. Otherwise, I would have handled it so much better, and I regret it. So I got to get back into it, and I hope that this has been a good enough sales pitch for both you, Matt, and our listeners to maybe try it out.
I'm not even going to consider doing it. I'm going to do it.
Just do it.
I know.
It is literally like flossing. It's flossing.
Do you feel that it's better to do it in the morning, at night, etc.?
I know.
Like, is it better to do it in the morning?
I do it first thing in the morning.
Because
me too. But if I forget, I just do it in an Uber. You can do it in public. I really implore people to do it in public because we need to spread the word of it's okay to meditate in public.
I do it when I'm giving blood.
Oh, that's what you give blood that often?
Yeah. No, not that. Oh, like, or taking blood, basically, because I can't.
Any kind of stressful thing. Like I did it yesterday when I was getting a facial because I didn't have time to do it yesterday morning. There can be things going on the train, anywhere. You can do it anywhere.
Yeah. I learned meditation from Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain.
Oh.
And I know a lot of artists have read that book. You should give it a try.
What is it called?
Creative visualization.
Great. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
And it is so helpful, and you don't need an app to do meditation through the practice that they teach you there. Although I think the apps are very helpful. It's just any tool that gets you into meditation you should use.
Okay. Yes, I agree with you. Leah Lamar, Matt Rogers in studio. We have more show ahead of us. Guys, most people are brushing their teeth all wrong, but it's not really their fault. It's because most brands focus on selling gimmicks you don't need rather than better brushing. That's why Quip. is taking... Quip! Right? Dude, Quip is the best. It's taking over everyone's morning routine with a simpler, better electric toothbrush. Sonic vibrations guide you for the dentist recommended 2 minutes, and the mirror mount puts brushing front and center in your bathroom. These are sleek, lightweight toothbrushes that have an amazing, incredibly powerful pulse. I love my Quip toothbrush. It's a compact design, meaning you can bring it along with you wherever you go. Plus, they automatically deliver brush heads to you on a dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. Quip is one of the first electric toothbrushes accepted by the American Dental Association, and they have thousands of verified 5-star reviews. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/Nikki right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. Spelled GetQuip, GetQuip.com/Nikki, getquip.com/Nikki. We'll be back with more show after this. Let's talk about Billy. Women's razors can cost up to 15% more than men's, and it's bullshit. But the idea that women should pay more for the same product is so stupid. That's why Billy is going to change everything. Billy, Billie, delivering premium razors direct to you for half the price of what you'd find in the store. Go to mybillie.com to get their starter kit, including 2 razor cartridges, a handle, and their magic magnetic holder for the shower. For only $9, you can get your refill blades for every 1, 2, or 3 months based on how often you shave and how hairy you are. Each razor cartridge includes 5 American-made blades encased in aloe shave soap for the smoothest shave that's gentle on sensitive skin. They also have more space between each blade to allow shave cream, soap, and hair to pass on by. These are the best blades your money can buy. These are Allure Best of Beauty winner and on Nylon's beauty hit list because Billy is a brand that you can finally got women's razors right. Order Billy. Billy is, and now you're going to get 10% off right now if you go to mybillie.com, mybillie.com/Nikki. Try out Billy, and you're going to get 10% off your razor. It's a small way you can support the show. Just go to mybillie.com/Nikki and get 10% off your new razor. Shipping is always free. Don't ever buy a razor at the store again. Don't have to have the CVS employee come unlock the case for you. Just shows up at your door. Best razors. As good as men's razors for once in our goddamn lives, ladies. mybillie.com/Nikki. Get it. We're back. It's You Up with Nikki Glaser. I'm here with Matt Rogers from Les Culturistas podcast, a podcast I really recommend. I have not heard it yet, but everyone who listens to our podcast and this show is a huge fan of it, and I can't wait to give it a listen.
You should come on.
Both should come on. I would love to come on.
Yeah.
And Leah Lamar, you can check out her web series, Real Witches of West Hollywood. People are raving about that as well. She produced it, wrote it, did the graphics for it, did everything from the top to bottom. She's a beautiful lady. She's a hilarious lady. She's as pretty as she is funny, which is upsetting. And she also has a podcast called Falling in Love with Leah Lamar that you should check out and follow both Matt and Leah on socials. Matt Rogers, though, THO, and Leah Lamar, LAMARR. I've had such a good time with you guys on the show.
Yeah,
Oh my
blast.
God, it's been such a blast.
Yeah.
I also need to get those razors because I'm like a bear.
Oh, yeah? How often do you shave?
Never.
Never?
I'm going to start now.
Yeah.
I have to. I think this is why my relationships don't work out.
Now that you know
because
there's
I'm
a
not shaving.
razor for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in.
God.
Sold.
I now this new book about not coming is like really upset me because I really just need to do that.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no, I need to preserve my energy. And it's just like, but I got so turned on reading this book about not coming.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
it's
the
hot.
thing.
I
So once
mean,
it dangles in
denial.
front
Because
of
all
you.
the porn I watch is like women being tied up and being forced to come.
Really?
I have such a hard time
Me
coming
too.
that I like women being like forced to have orgasms
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, like they're just like, stop it.
The
Like,
female orgasms in porn. Sometimes I will watch straight porn just because the female orgasms look so fucking intense. Like, and also,
Yes.
what I didn't realize that like squirting is not actually as euphoric as it looks necessarily.
really?
Like, I don't know. Is anyone?
I've squirted, I think twice, but really once for sure.
And it was insane. It felt
it
insane.
was the best.
Okay, wow. Because it looks like it feels insane.
It was wild.
Oh,
You know how in porn
my
where they
God.
just make it look like a faucet, like a
Yes.
fire hydrant leaking?
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden it shoots someone across the room,
Yes.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a power
yeah.
tool.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was like that for me.
That's
Holy
so crazy.
shit.
It took me. I was like just going on a real tear one day, and I did.
Unbelievable.
I think I like came 3 times, and it was on the third. I was like, let's go
Wow.
one more because I was
One
like
more
bored,
round.
and that was the one that got me.
It just
And
shot out.
and I didn't plan for it. I wasn't trying to do it. It just all of a sudden I was just like, oh no, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Like so much water. It ran down like the bed. I was more weighted on my back, and so it slid down my back. My whole shirt was wet. It was and then I got up from the bed. It was a puddle. It was a puddle that I could splash in because I wanted to see if it was pee. So I was like.
Is that why
And
Andrew
what
calls
was
I
it
was
Puddle
washing
Boy?
my face with it. It was not pee.
Oh
it
my
was
God,
not.
no.
It's like just discharge or whatever.
It
What
just
is
was
it?
like water.
Did he love it?
No, I was alone.
She was alone.
I was alone. Dude.
I missed that part of the
Yeah,
story.
dude, I was alone.
Have you ever? Has a
Unbelievable.
guy ever made you squirt?
No, we've tried so hard, but it was like it just I need to be so relaxed and I feel like most of the I don't know what and I need to come like so many times and be exhausted by it.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something that's preventing you from releasing that in your mind
Absolutely,
or body.
yeah.
And so when you're so depleted from so many orgasms, like the last one you have, you're just like, I can't hold whatever that is in anymore.
Well, I know the
It
book
just
says no
flies out.
orgasming, but what about no squirting? You know, I think
I
that feels
know.
different. Different
It was-
category.
I was so excited afterwards too. I was so proud of myself, and I
Yeah.
felt like such like a, I don't know, that I was just able to do that and do it on my own. Like after I come, I'm always like so proud of myself. I really don't have a
I
moment.
love it.
Nikki, if there was no one there to experience it, did it really happen?
know.
It was like a tree falling in the
I will
woods.
say that yes, it did because my friends Emil and Andrew came over late because I told them immediately. I was like, guys, I just squirted and I'm sorry. I know this is inappropriate. I'm like your boss technically, but like I'm so proud of myself. I sent Noah, my producer, a picture of the bed. It was just a gigantic puddle, like
Wait,
a
so
huge.
is this actually when
That's
your apartment flooded?
crazy.
and I was so calm for some reason.
Amazing, yeah.
But later on, I had stripped the bed because I wanted to like make it easy for the maid to change and not have to like deal
my
with it.
God.
So I stripped the bed that right after. They forgot to change my room. Andrew and Emil, my MC that weekend, came upstairs with me at one point to hang. They had already known I squirted. It was like
Oh my God,
it was already
hilarious.
like common knowledge.
Common
Yeah.
knowledge.
But I was like, my bed's changed by now. It wasn't changed. They hadn't come, and I was like, fuck. And they were there to support me because I had just gone off and hooked up with a guy that they were hanging out with me all day with. And I like blew this guy, and afterwards I left, and I was feeling really sad and empty. And I was like, will you guys meet me in my room? Because I had to pack up and leave at 3 a.m. for a
my
really
God.
early flight. So I was like, will you guys come meet me? So they met me in my room and like talked to me as I cried and was like, why did I blow him? I didn't even want to. His cum is still on my face, and I'm talking to you guys, and I'm like eating a protein bar. And then they're like, we think you
You already had
probably-
enough protein for the day.
Oh God, you're so right. So they go, Nikki, we think that you should just stay the night here and get a later flight because you're stressed out. Like, why don't you get some sleep? And so I was like, but my bed isn't even made and it's all squirted on from 2 days ago because it was the morning before. So and they go, they were like, well, we'll help you change it. We go back in there
No.
and I go, guys, I think it's so wet. And they felt it and they were like, oh my God. They were like, how is this bed still wet when it happened literally 36 hours ago? It was wild.
You're describing the horniest several hours. So basically, you had a day where you came 3 times, including one grand finale where you scored,
and
you still ventured out the next day to suck cock.
Yeah, well, I was trying to like get it out of my system a little bit before I saw this guy because he's hurt me so much, and I didn't want to be tempted to do anything with him. And then all day I was with him, and he touched my back in the elevator, and I got so wet. I was like,
so
it's on.
Oh my God.
And then we waited I hung out with him all day. Finally, end up back at his hotel. Have to like beg him to touch me. We're in bed next to. We're in his bed, laying next to each other, like 2 people in coffins next to each other. He won't touch me, and I go, I'd like it. I mean, it was the longest night of my life. I gave him a blowjob just because I was like, I need to get something out of this. I need to like practice blowjobs. I want to like see if I've gotten any better.
Oh my God.
And I blew him, and I felt so sad afterwards. I was just like, I left feeling just like so empty, even though I was full.
You took his chi, so
yeah.
Now he's less
truly.
successful.
Okay, we gotta get to good question.
Good question.
You're listening to You Up with Nikki Glaser. Today's Good Question segment is presented by iBuyDirect. iBuyDirect has over 1,000 frames to choose from, starting at just $6. Today's good question, I'm going to choose from this list of 4. Okay, besides the obvious ones, what app do you use on your phone the most? Like, what's your favorite app on your phone that people might not know about?
Oh, that they might not know. Oh, Pimsleur.
What's that?
It is a language learning app like Duolingo. However, it's more conversational based.
Okay.
我会说一点普通话，可是我说的不好。I'm learning Mandarin.
What?
Wow.
Did I just blow your minds?
Wait, what is this called again?
Pimsleur.
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 Pimsleur. I'm doing it right now.
And it's $30 a month, but to me, it's like I'm investing in myself.
That's a great investment.
If you think about it, it's $1 a day to learn another language and literally blow people's minds at parties.
I mean, how long have you been learning Mandarin?
Not very long, about a month and a half.
Pimsleur.
And
Sleur. Like le. Pimsleur.
Yes, I love it. But I think that we all know the truth is that Instagram has stolen all of our souls. In The Real Witches of West Hollywood, we actually have a magic trick where one of the witches gets mad and she casts a spell and throws one of the other witches' Instagram for an eternity.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I wish I could do that in real life with people because I feel like 100%. We're all literally trapped in our phones anyway.
Instagram is everything. It's that's the number one app I use more than if my phone is an Instagram device.
It's literally hard for me to answer the question because the only app I use is Instagram.
Agreed. Is there any other app Matt, that surfaces for you that people might not know about?
Honestly, maybe if you're into astrology at all, and I'm really not.
Please say the pattern.
But no, the CoStar app. So, which I think is like a little, maybe the basic one.
Yeah,
okay.
it is.
But yeah, right. So essentially it's like you can add people on it and they filled out their like entire birth charts. And so you can see who you're compatible with astrologically out of your friends. And it gives you little like horoscopes every day. And it's just literally I'm on it maybe 2 times a week. But if there's an app outside of Instagram that I use, it's this one. And if you're into astrology, it's cool because...
Say it again?
It's called CoStar.
CoStar. Okay.
Yeah, so you can like literally...
Wait a second. Jen, our producer Jen is really into astrology. Jen, does this check out? Are you on CoStar?
No, but I'm going to download it now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jen,
you should.
Jen, what about the pattern?
The pattern? No, I don't have that.
Jen, get on the pattern.
She really don't know the pattern. Sorry.
Everyone's on the pattern. No offense.
But
okay.
it's like you can see like and honestly, it's kind of cool to see your entire birth chart because it'll go through every single like one of your like moons and stuff.
Okay,
and like it'll tell you like what it's like in your sex life, in your romantic life, which is different.
Yes.
In your social life, in your professional life, it'll kind of give you where you're at astrologically for all those things, and you can see how compatible you are with friends and people that you are into.
Okay, I love this question. I'm learning so much.
The pattern is similar, except it's you can also be paired with friends or lovers to see if you're compatible long term, and it tells you all of the issues you might run into.
Whoa.
Yeah, I will say like
it's really intense.
I was never super into it until I had my chart read, and then my friend that was reading it was like, so just go with me here, but this. And she was breaking down my personality in ways where I was like, oh my God. And I've always been the kind of person that's like, yeah, if you're a human being, you do feel every emotion. And so that's why astrology is bullshit. But then there were specific things. And then my friend Greta Teitelman, great stand-up, she went to an astrologer, like for real, like paid real money to go to an astrologer. And he fucking rocked her world.
What?
And it's like anything else. It's like, not to compare it to meditation because that's an actual helpful process, but I think it's like if you can use it in a way that it helps you, fucking go for it.
Go for it.
You know what I mean?
I went on a date with a guy who said he was a political salesman. And because I didn't...
Tell me more.
Well, I didn't... Can you imagine me not wanting to be on the date so badly that I didn't even ask a follow-up question? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
But so he's a political salesman turned astrologer, turned new actor at 38, so it was going to be a no for me, dog. But he did read my chart. Thank you. I stayed. And he was like, your life mission is to meet a partner and figure out how to spend your life with a partner. And I was like, I'm sure that works on someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, I have to get my chart read by someone else. And then I did. And she was like, oh, you're fulfilling your life path 100%.
Oh.
You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I was like, oh my God.
There's going to be hacks in every field.
I Skype with a woman in Australia.
Oh my God.
Her name is Tamira. And honestly, shout out to Tamira.
Shout out Tamira.
I'll say this one app that I haven't really used enough, but it's called Blinkist, and it's a way to read nonfiction books in a condensed version. Because nonfiction books, they're always so, like, there's so much fluff in them. There's so many case studies. They repeat the same stuff over and over because they have to fill up 200 pages to make a book.
Right.
But really, their information can be whittled down to 30 pages.
Just like Ayn Rand.
Exactly. So Blinkist will they've gone through most nonfiction hit books, and you can buy books on there and read them in like 10 minutes and get the gist of it, and then you can go get the longer one if you want. But sometimes nonfiction books, I'm like, God, I gotta read the foreword about why this is important. Now I gotta read where this guy's history is. And Blinkist is just a way to read nonfiction books in a really speedy manner and check out different ones. So check out that Cupid's Poison Arrow on Blinkist, or check out Getting to I Do on Blinkist. I've had the best time with you guys today. I'm
This
so
is
sad the show is
fun
over.
ever.
Matt Rogers, I can't wait to have you back to the show. Check out his podcast, Las Culturistas. Matt Rogers, though, on Instagram. And Leah Lamar, check out her web series, The Real Witches of West Hollywood, and her podcast, Falling in Love with Leah Lamar. Follow her on Instagram, Leah Lamar, Lamarr. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun.
You're the best. Thank you.
I'll see you
Amazing.
tomorrow,
So much fun.
Squirt Nation. Squirt, jackpot.